I'm not sure if we've met before. Remind me, are you the one who name-called me for no reason? About 2 years ago, I went to a bar with college friends. One brought her sister, who immediately picked me as her target. She talked over me constantly, rolled her eyes at everything I said, and spent 10 minutes trying to get the table to mock me for not liking horror movies. When I went to the bathroom, she told my friends I was pathetic and called me a slut and a bitch. My friends apologized later and said she was going through a breakup. They promised she wouldn't come around again. 3 weeks ago, I saw her at a mutual friend's birthday party. Her sister tried introducing us and she said we'd already met. I looked at her blankly and said no, I don't think so. She insisted we met at that bar. I shook my head and said I didn't remember. She got visibly annoyed and kept insisting. I asked her to describe the night to help me remember. She stumbled through details but obviously couldn't mention calling me names. I finally said I still didn't recognize her and walked away. She looked furious. 2 days later, I'm at work going through bookings. I manage a small event venue that does weddings. I pull up next month's calendar and see a familiar name. I open the file and there's her engagement photo. She's getting married at my venue in 5 weeks. Her wedding coordinator called that afternoon to confirm details. When she said the bride's name, I paused and said I wasn't seeing it in the system. The coordinator panicked and said they had confirmation emails. I made typing sounds and said, "Oh wait, found it, we're all set." She came in the next day for centerpiece planning. I was at the front desk. She walked in and stared at me. I looked up and said, "Hi, do you have an appointment?" She said yes, for wedding planning. I asked her name and checked the computer. I told her to have a seat. She sat down looking confused. A minute later, she came back and asked if she knew me from somewhere. I said I didn't think so. Maybe I just had one of those faces. My coworker handled her appointment while she kept glancing at me. She came back 3 more times over the next month for planning. Every time I asked her name for the appointment like I'd never seen her before. She started getting frustrated and asked her coordinator if I was messing with her. The coordinator said I was just busy and probably didn't remember every bride. Wedding day arrived. I was doing paperwork when someone knocked. She stood there in her wedding dress looking stressed. She asked if we could talk. I asked what I could help with. She took a breath and asked if I actually didn't remember her or was doing this on purpose. I asked what she meant and if something was wrong with the setup. She said we met at a bar 2 years ago and she might have been kind of rude. I let silence hang between us. Then I said if she'd been rude, I would definitely remember, so she must be thinking of someone else. She went red and said I'd been messing with her this whole time. I said I don't mess with clients. That would be unprofessional, and I needed to coordinate her cocktail hour. I walked past and she grabbed my arm. She apologized and said she was going through stuff and took it out on me. I looked at her hand on my arm, then back at her face. I said I appreciated the apology, but had no idea what she was talking about. I told her to have a beautiful wedding and pulled my arm away. The ceremony went fine. During the reception, I gave our standard welcome toast. I looked at her table and said special congratulations to the bride who specifically requested our venue. Although I had to admit I didn't remember meeting her before she booked. I said it must have been a really memorable first impression though. Some guests laughed thinking it was a joke. She looked like she wanted to sink through the floor. Her new husband asked what that meant and she shook her head. I handed the mic back to the DJ and went back to work. She left a 1-star review saying the manager was weirdly hostile for no reason, but my boss didn't care because the event went perfectly.